Welcome to Math, where problems are no problem. You're taking the ASVAB, and a question shows up that says something like, for every 5 new recruits at a station, 3 of them choose the Army. If 40 people signed up this month, how many chose the Army? Your brain sees the words 5 and 3 and 40 and starts to panic. But here's the thing. This is just a recipe problem wearing a military uniform. Think about doubling a cookie recipe. If it calls for 2 eggs and 1 cup of sugar, and you want to make a bigger batch, you don't just add random extra eggs. You keep the same relationship between eggs and sugar, just scaled up. That relationship, the recipe, is what math calls a ratio. And that's exactly what we're going to use to solve this recruit problem, start to finish. Before we dive in, let's nail down 2 words you'll see over and over in these ASVAB problems. A ratio is just a comparison between 2 amounts, written like 5 to 3, telling you how much of one thing you have compared to another. A proportion is when you say 2 ratios are equal to each other, like saying 5 to 3 is the same relationship as 10 to 6. That's really it. Ratios describe a relationship. Proportions say 2 relationships match. Now let's set up our actual problem. For every 5 recruits, 3 choose the Army. We can write that ratio as 5 to 3, or as a fraction, 3 over 5. 3 Army recruits out of every 5 total recruits. We're told the real number of recruits this month is 40, and we want to find how many of those 40 chose the Army. So we set up a proportion. We say our small ratio, 3 over 5, has to equal our real-world ratio, some unknown number over 40. We use the letter x to stand for the number we don't know yet, the number of Army recruits. Here's the part that trips people up on the actual test. So let's slow down. There are 2 ways to solve this, and I'll show you the fast one and the safe one. The fast way. Look at what happened to the bottom number. 5 became 40. What did we multiply by? 40 divided by 5 is 8. So the ratio got scaled up by 8. That number, 8, is called the scale factor, basically how much bigger the recipe got. Since the whole ratio scales together, if the bottom multiplied by 8, the top has to multiply by 8 too. 3 times 8 is 24, so x equals 24. Now the safe way, for when the numbers aren't as clean and you can't spot the scale factor by eye, this is where cross multiplication comes in. Cross multiplication is just a shortcut for solving a proportion. When 2 fractions are set equal to each other, you multiply diagonally across the equal sign. Top left times bottom right, and bottom left times top right, and those 2 results are equal. So here 3 times 40 gives us 120, and 5 times x gives us 5x. That means 5x equals 120. To get x by itself, we divide both sides by 5. Since dividing undoes multiplying, 120 divided by 5 is 24. So x equals 24. Both methods land in the exact same place. 24 recruits chose the Army. That's not a coincidence. It's the same relationship. Just walked through 2 different doors. On the real ASVAB, if the numbers are friendly, like 5 and 40, spotting the scale factor is faster. If they're ugly, like 7 and 53, cross-multiplication saves you from doing awkward division in your head. Let's verify this actually makes sense, because a good answer should hold up when you check it. If 24 out of 40 recruits chose the Army, that ratio should simplify back down to 3 to 5. 24 over 40, both numbers divide evenly by 8, gives us 3 over 5. That matches our original ratio exactly, so we know 24 is correct, not just a number that popped out of a formula. And notice something reassuring here. A proportion is honestly just 2 equivalent fractions sitting next to an equals sign. Fractions you've been simplifying and scaling since elementary school. The ASVAB just dresses it up in word problem language about recruits, or paint mixtures, or map distances, hoping the wording scares you before the math does. So here's the one thing to remember. Whenever a problem gives you a rate, or a comparison, and then asks, what if the numbers got bigger? Write it as 2 equal fractions, and either spot the scale factor or cross-multiply. Same recipe, just a bigger batch. If this helped, the next video covers ASVAB arithmetic reasoning percentage and interest problems. And if this channel's been useful, subscribing helps more of it find you.